Yo! Boom, boom, how's it going? Yeah, good morning to you, good morning to you. It is a Friday, and Friday we are all here talking about everything and everything around the real estate. And my name is TJ, and on a Friday, if you got any questions, we address them here. It's kind of like open mic on Friday, open mic Friday, right? And you get to ask all of your questions, yeah, and I get to answer them. And out of that, and predominantly, this is all of our questions in the property space. And my name is TJ. It is good to having you here, and I'm trusting that you've been having a great week so far. Yeah. So as it is on an open mic, wherever you are watching me from, you can literally go into the comments, ask a question in the comments, and I'll be able to answer that. And and we can get along on that. But I actually want to stress out, and I've got a question today, and that question is someone says to me, "Hey TJ, you spoke about DIY for the bond originator the other day. Can we please cover the DIY for property management?" And I said, "Yeah, by all means. Let's dig into it. Let's get our teeth into it and see what are you allowed, what are you not allowed, what can you do, what can you not do." So I like these open mic thingies. Right? I like the open mic thingies because we can just address one question and we can sort it out as we go along. But before I go further, I'd like to say to you guys, thank you very much for some of my investors, or should I say some of the people that are partnering up on the M5 chart. That's the current investment that we're having, and that's an investment around infinity returns. So if one of those people who have a minimum of 100,000 and you want to earn infinity returns, you want to see that money grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And whilst you're an armchair investor, you want to be hanging out with me. And in the comments below, you'll be able to have access to that link on how you can register, and we can talk about it. We hang out on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday at 7 o'clock, and you can actually be part of it as well. Okay, good stuff. Right, so as it is an open mic, right, what does open mic means? You ask the question, I answer them. Simple like that, right? And obviously there's time of asking the question so that obviously we can come prepared and we can cover in the session. But you're also welcome to drop in any comments in the ask a question in the comment section, and I will answer that as I go along. So the first question that I would like to address is a guy called Sponkseni, and Sponkseni sent a message to me and says, TJ, is it okay to DIY my property? Is it okay to DIY my property? And I said, what do you mean, bruh? And it says to me, no, I mean to DIY, can I property manage it myself? And I was like, okay, that's an interesting question to answer. But before I go on to answer that question, I want to give you guys a scenario. And this is truth Bob. This happened in this week. So in my house, I got a fireplace. And this fireplace is an oven, right? It's an oven, sort of like. So you can actually literally put stuff on top of it, and things can heat up, warm up there. Unfortunately, it can't do pizza. I love pizza, but it can't do pizza. So it's a fireplace. It's an oven like. And you guys, you know that, my mom moved in with us, and my mom is in the mid-70s, so she's kind of like slow in terms of her actions, like she used compared to what she used to be back in the days. And I'm talking about DIY here, right? So this is what happened this week, right? Talking about DIY, my mom put in a fire in the fireplace. She put in a knife, right? And I wasn't there. Tawana, my big boy, was there with her. They were doing this together. And with that knife, what literally happened was that she wanted to cut a piece of a bucket, right? Because that's not working for her. She wanted to cut it out. So she put the knife in the fire. Once she did that, obviously the knife caught up some fire a little bit, or should I say it heated up. and she took it out, her and the grandchild there. So she's the leader, she's doing DIY, and she literally cut off that bucket thing that was she wanted to do. In the process, what happened was that she then cut herself on the side here, right? So she cut herself on the side here, and then in the same place, guess what? Because she was cutting off, and this knife is on fire now, and it had cut off on the bucket, so the bucket is plastic, isn't it? So which means that when it bruised her hand, not only did it cut her, but it also left the plastic on there. Oof! So I hear screamings, and I'm coming out, and I see what is happening. I'm like, what are you doing? Well, these are the results of DIY. Well, I hope your property journey does not become like that. I wanted to be a little bit graphic like that so that you can see. But on a serious note, let's jump on into property management, and as it is an open mic. Right, what does it mean to property manage? Are you allowed anyway, by law, to do your own property management? The answer is yes. Yes, you are. Right, so our governing law in terms of property management allows you, if you are the owner of the property, if you've got a portion shareholding of the property, if you got any interest in terms of this property here to be yours, then yes, you are allowed to manage it yourself. So that's what they call self-managing. So from a law perspective, you're allowed to do it. There are no restrictions. However, comes the other predicament, and this predicament is where I also say a lot of people get it wrong. And I see lots of small investors coming in, and they fall into that trap because they don't want to pay the 10% for managing that property. And I'm saying 10% here, it could range anything from 5%. I've seen 12% actually. So there's so many people there that are doing property management on different rates. So 10% is just an average here that we are throwing out. By the way, hey, it is Open Friday. It is Friday and it is open mic. You can ask any of your questions, and in the comments there, you can let me know where you are, and you can ask as many questions that you want to ask, and I will answer that. And today I am answering the question of, can I DIY my property rental business? So meaning that, can I property manage my own properties? And the answer is yes. Right. Now, I want to stress the fact that when you're doing your property management, it is extremely important that you're educated on how to do it, because there are so many ways to do it. You can go to CNA or any of these other companies, and you can then go and buy a rental agreement, and then you think that that is it, and you can go and do that. It's just 1% of what you can do, right? So let me talk about it. What is property management anyway? Property management speaks to a couple of things. You bringing in the tenant is one angle, right? Bringing in the tenant, there's a component of advertising, there's a component of having that individual screened to get to your place, and there's a component of managing the individual for the rest of their lives whilst they're sitting in your property, and there's the exiting of that individual, right? There are a few requirements that are required for you, obviously, for if you're wanting to have someone be in your place. It needs to be attractive. You need to take the right pictures, how to take the right pictures. If you don't know, you're just going to take pictures with your 1914 cell phone and put them on the internet. They're not going to sell. So I am of the view that when you are starting off in property, right, you've got 1 or 2 properties, you can do it. I'm of the view that you can do it. You can save on your 10% if you want to save it. But really, I think when you can do it like that, then you need to be trained, right? I don't have a course around property management. I don't do property management courses. So find out from other property agencies out there what can be done, or look around. Just check on the internet. What are they doing? But I want to give you 5 tips, guys. And I want to stress the fact that, I'm getting more and more people are asking me this question. Hey, TJ, you're always talking about this property and finance things. Are you jumping in to be a financial advisor? No, I am not. I do not wish to be a financial advisor. I don't want to be a financial advisor. I am very vocal, and I would like to create awareness about what I do. So I teach what I do. I do property. I am aware of what property can do for me, and I create the same awareness to others, and I talk about what I do. I talk about what I do, and if what I do interests you, yeah, tag along. And you can do it. You can copy and paste. There's no science to this, and I've learned that if I need to be financially independent, I need to be financially literate, right? Because if you are financially ignorant, you're going to pay for it. It's just the same with, individuals that ignorant about interest. If you are ignorant about interest, you are going to pay it. You're going to pay the interest. But if you're not ignorant around interest, you are going to benefit from it. So which side of the fence do you want to be? But let's come back to my point here of actually, running through being a property manager. So you can be your own property manager. I stress the fact that investigate, or tag along someone first, right? Tag along someone else who's good. Go out there, see which are the best brands in your area, give them your first property and see how they're doing it for 1 year or 2 years. And then maybe on your second property, third, fourth, you can then be able to do it yourself. When I'm saying do it yourself, what do I mean? Right. Number one is obviously cleaning up the place, making it pretty, and making sure that it's as presentable for someone who's going to come and like it. That's number one. And then number two, how do you screen? There's so many ways in which you can screen. Actually, it's not number two, it's number three, actually. Number two is how are you going to advertise? Where, right? All of these guys that do property management, obviously they've got good rates with the different platforms, but you can do it. There's other websites that are literally for free, for a bit, the likes of Gumtrees. I mean, there's lots of them, OLX and all of those things. But is that where you want to get your traffic? I don't know. Facebook, what, all of these things, they are there for you to advertise. Now, once you have advertised, obviously you need to put your best foot forward of your property. The words that you're going to be utilizing to attract the right customer that you're looking for. So you need to think about that a little bit. And if you go online, people don't just say 2-bedroom available. Like, okay, what? Right? So there's more to it. There's a bit of science around it. So once you have done that, obviously now you start getting applications. Applications are going to come in fast. How do you screen that which people are you going to see? So you're going to get, let's say, 100 responses. But of your 100 responses, which ones are you going to see? What's the criteria? Do you even have a criteria? So the point is that you need to have some form of a criteria. Say, these people I don't want, this is what I want. Okay, right. What is that criteria for you? Right. And once you have that criteria, then you start calling people in. Then you start going through to do house viewing. But now, if you don't have a criteria, you're going to be on your property 100th time because you just open to everyone. So now you see it's taking up a lot of your time. So there's a process here, and you need to understand that process. And then I've lost track of what number that is. But the next point is, once obviously you've got all of these people coming in, now you need to do, you kind of like gut feel versus what you've got on paper. Is this the right candidate for my place? And if the answer is yes, both on paper, both on gut feel, because remember, you are property managing this property yourself, so you're going to have first time with them. And if you're not feeling a comfortable feeling with them, even though their paperwork is correct, I always say I follow the gut. For me, that's me. That's the Holy Spirit speaking to me right there. On the other hand, then we go ahead and then you're like, okay, fine. Where do you sign on the dotted line? This is where you sign. Now, on that, I'm going to recommend a contract that I think is the bulletproof of property management at the moment in our markets. And this is the TPN report. I utilize the TPN report. I've improved it a little bit to suit our needs of a property, to suit our needs of my business. So you can improve it. You can use it as it is. I think that it is a bulletproof. They've looked at property rental laws. They are consistently improving that. And they've got a PEG and Michelle Dickens together with their team. They've done a great job there and they continue to do that. So big up to them. On the other hand, now you've screened this person and you've got those rules and regulations that you've got which I generally display to people, it has to be a separate document outside your rental contract. You know, the do's and the don'ts of the property needs to be very clear to the next person. And then thereafter, they're going to pay you deposit. We all know deposit needs to be safe kept somewhere, and it has to be carrying on an interest on it, and you need to disclose that to the next person, and so that when they come out. Now, the next thing that you now need to do is that the day, at least a day or so before they move in, or the day that you're handing over the keys, to do an inspection, right? A lot of people, we don't do this. And these days, there's so many inspection templates, platforms that you can utilize. One of my boys, Brian Sango, he's got a tool that he's got for property inspections, and you want to reach out to him there in terms of how does that work, how does that tool work. And, you know, you can then inspect, you know, some of these apps, they can take videos, they can take voice notes, they can take, so you can literally walk the entire property, taking pictures, taking videos of what it is, so that your tenant, when they move in from day one, it's extremely clear what the property is looking like. Why are you doing an inspection when they are moving in? When they are moving out, you need to do the same thing, and that's where you actually see what's broken, what's not. What do they need to pay for? Why are you withholding their deposit? Are you allowed to withhold their deposit anyway? For what purposes? You give them 5 keys and they're returning 1. So who's going to replace the other 4? So definitely yes. What if the damages supersedes what the deposit is held is going? What is the damage? What if the damage that they have done supersedes the deposit that you're holding? So what do you do from there? You know, so the laws are pretty clear around that. So before you go out there and get this tenant to move in into your place, understand there's an act around property rentals. Have you read it? Right? So don't just jump into it. Fine if you have jumped into it already, you got a tenant in it, it's okay. But my point is that educate yourself, right? The other thing that you might want to consider, hey, do you have some form of rental guarantees? The smaller your portfolio, you want to have that. Or I am of the view that if you are starting off, I am also a big fan of having a property manager. So I've spoken right now throughout within the last couple of minutes of how you can do it yourself, which is great as a startup, but I don't advocate for it. Why? Because there's so many things that can go wrong that you don't know. But if you have gone out there to educate yourself, great, you can do it yourself. Go ahead and do it. But if you don't know, then I always say that go and look out for a good property manager. And I've been hanging out with Ben. These guys are called House Me. I actually like their platform in terms of how it works. It's got some form of a rental guarantee for 3 months. We've utilized that several times. And another rental manager that I also like. So I'm in the west of Johannesburg, and I utilize the guys at Only Realty, Terry and their team. They've also been doing some great works for us in one building there. So investigate, look out there, who do you want to hang out with in terms of who's providing you a great service, and what are you looking for in all of these things? Are they on top of their game? Do they communicate to you, and all of those things? And if the answer is yes, then yes, go and spend the 10%. It's extremely worth your time to have someone else doing the job for you whilst you are chilling. That's what we call peace of mind whilst you're having your passive income. That's all we want, isn't it? Right. Now, I have given this to you from a property management perspective in terms of both sides. You can do it yourself, bit of work in it, bit of education that you need to. But even though if you got someone else doing it for you, you need to be educated around it. Because you don't want to be caught with your pants down when they are telling you of, you see, you have to change the gate here because Act 14 of 45, Section 5 and C stipulates that the gate should be of this standard. And you just go ahead and replace the gate. Like, what the hell? You know? So you need to be aware so that when a property manager who's a little bit on the dumb side and they're now telling you things that is not like factually correct, you can push back and say, no, that's not it. You know, you can push back, right? And you also need to know the rights for the tenants. You also need to know your rights in terms of it. And you also need to know services that you're providing, services that you're not providing, and very clear. And all of these things needs to be clear. Right. I think I'm going to end it there for today. If you got any comments, drop them in there. But I think this is a cool conversation for us to have. And I've been thinking of how do we actually talk about this conversation. So here we are. We spoke about it, and we spoke about it on Friday on Open Mic. But I want to stress the fact that, guys, the M5 chart, it is happening. And if you're one of those people that have a minimum of 100,000, you can literally jump on with us, and we can be investing together, you and I, and we could be making some good back. And there's lots of properties out there at this moment, and we can literally go in and buy them. And yeah, lots of landlords that are feeling the pressure. And so there are potentially going to be lots of chippies that are coming through within this season. This is one of those greatest times where we're going through in a crash. And obviously, as you go through into a crash, the economy is suffering, but you can get good buys. And this is what we are fundraising so that we are ready for those properties as they come. We've already started seeing them. They are here already. So jump on with us. Hey, my name is TJ. It's been great hanging out with you. It is I, your boy, TJ Taurai Jack. And hey, don't forget to buy my book. If you haven't bought your book yet, I've got a few people sending in, buying the book online. So watch out for, I think the first delivery for this week should have arrived yesterday or today. And obviously another delivery should be hitting on Monday as well, you know, because the guys that deliver for us, they come on particular days to pick up the books and deliver straight to your door. Hey, it is I, TJ Taurai Jack. It's been great hanging out with you. And let's check you out again over the weekend. It's been great. Cheers. God bless. Goodbye.